And so, good morning. We have this lovely project that I'm going to work on today, and I'm going to document this for the first time, and I'm quite excited about it, as you're going to see. I think this is going to be a lovely table when I'm done with it. I'm going to turn the camera around now so you can see it, and kind of walk you through this as I do it. Isn't this exciting? I'm excited. Are you excited? I'm excited. Let's go forward. Oh my goodness. All right. Now see, here what we have here, if I was it right here, yes, you see, is an old door. I think it's a barn door, maybe. I don't know what it was used for particularly, of course. It's very old looking and weathered, and it's a standard 75 inches long by about 31 inches wide. And I bought this particular door from an elderly gentleman at a flea market for $5, and he seemed very excited to get $5 for it. But I don't think he realized that in the world of do-it-yourself crafts and repurposing, what he actually had here was something of a gem. And so it's got all of these original old boards and nails, and oh my God, this is a tetanus dream. But we're going to avoid tetanus today, and instead we're just going to take this old door and make it into a table. Now, that's the door, as you can see. Now, what I have here is an old pile of wood, right? Well, you can see that clearly. But what this actually is pallets, the old wood pallets, of course, you know, that stock and freight and what have you comes on. And it's been taken apart to several of them, actually, and here we are. And I've picked some particularly weathered pieces, you see, that match the door, as you can see. And these pieces are going to serve as these pieces right here. Yes, they are. They're going to serve as the skirt for this table. Oh my God, this is going to be a glorious project. And I'm going to walk you through it, as I said, every step of the way. Let's get started. All right, now, after a short break in which I had just a little bit of coffee so that I could calm down a little bit, and I am very calm now. What you can see is that I have laid the old boards out in a design that will clearly serve as the skirt for this table. So we have these old boards from the pallet, and they will serve as the skirt. Now, as you can see, of course, it's not a precise fit. Of course, it wouldn't be. That would be far too lucky, wouldn't it? A perfect fit. And so we have the old boards laid out as a skirt. So what do we do? Well, we have to cut them, don't we? You have to cut these down so that this will be a good fit. Well, we don't want to permanently mess up the wood, do we? We don't want to use something that would stain it. For example, as a Sharpie, for example. So what I use is chalk. So a white chalk will show up very clearly on the wood. And so what I will do is I will simply make a mark right here as the chalk breaks. Very good, of course. This is what happens on live TV. So there, we've got a mark on this board right here, as you can see, and that's what's going to be cut. And then I'll simply come over to the other side, and I will make a similar mark right here. There we go. And that will be cut. Now, likewise, as we come down here, as you can see, these boards are too long. And so we don't want them to come down past, to say, here, we want to give ourselves plenty of room for the end piece, as here on this end. So what we'll do is we'll simply go back down here. We'll mark this. And as you can see, I'm not very well organized, but there we go. And now let's go do some cutting. All right. Now, see, what I have here is a Craftsman table saw, very basic, really. And I bought this at a flea market for $25. And obviously it looks pretty bad, but it works fantastically. And I have recently replaced the blade, and it rubs up against the side here, but I really don't care, because you know what? It cuts wood. And this is where we're going to make our cut. As you can see, we've got the chalk line, and so what we're going to do is we're simply going to make two cuts. Of course, to make this end board. And so we're going to go ahead and do that right now. Now, it's very important that we ensure that we've got our safety foremost in our minds, right? So let's talk about that for just it's all right. As you can see, I've got to get my timing better. I'm not professional at this, right? All right. So now I've got these safety glasses on, as you can see, right? Because obviously, as we're cutting the wood, things could pop up, and I don't want to lose an eye over a table. Now, I've also taken off, as you can see, I've taken off my gloves. Why did I take off my gloves? Now, when you're handling wood, of course, you don't want splinters, so you wear gloves. That's very simple. However, when you are working with a saw blade, you take gloves off. Why? Why is that? This is counterintuitive almost, isn't it? No, it's not. Because if the material of the gloves gets caught into the blade, it will pull your hand into the blade, and therefore you will cut your hands off, or your fingers, or whatever. So you do not, don't use the gloves, and of course you keep your hands clear of the blade, and use push sticks if you need to, which is simply a stick which you use to push the wood forward. Now let's cut some wood, shall we? All right, so let's go ahead and turn the blade on by simply pulling this, and there we are. Now the blade is, as you can say, turning. Now, normally I would use two hands, but since I've only got two hands, and one of them is holding the camera, and one of them is going to push the wood, so it should be pretty simple. Now, actually, I've just made a mistake. The blade is not high enough, as you can see, to cut this wood. The wood is higher than the blade. So what are we going to do about that? Well, we're going to come down here, and we're going to turn to adjust the blade up. As you can see, the blade is coming up as I turn the adjustment handle, and soon we'll have this blade up to its full height, and hopefully that will be enough to cut right through the wood. Let's turn the blade back on, and let's make the cut, shall we? Nicely done. And we're not going to use our hands, we're just going to go to move that. And now we're going to make the second cut, as you can see right here, the top line, and off we go. Very nicely done. We'll move that off, we'll turn the top right here, so switch, boop. And now we have our piece. And so now we have placed the piece, as you can see right here. Now it has a very nice fit. We've got it just like we'd like it. And we have a bit of a difference right here, as you can see. But that's all right. That's not going to affect it at all. In fact, for this type of table, those types of imperfections are desirable, because of course there's nothing polished or new about this, and that's what makes it so attractive to so many people. So what's next? Well, now that we've cut this end piece, we'll need to cut another one for this end, and as you can see, we also still need to cut these pieces for the skirt because they're too long. So we'll make these two cuts next, and then place another end piece here. And that's what I will do next. And bear with me as I do that. This is so much fun. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. And of course, no documentary is any good if it's done with an American accent. And of course, that's why I'm doing this in a British accent. Because in a British accent, anything and everything is interesting. Right. Yes, of course. All right. Now, good morning. Make some more cuts.
We're on morning number 2 of this exciting project. And we've got 20 inches of snow outside, and to get time actually to come out and do this. Now, what's happened is I've made done some work. yes, work and play. Also, because I should tell you, this is fun, exciting stuff for me, So anyway, I've done some work since I last visited you, and what I've done is actually
fastened the frame onto the table, which I'm going to show you in a second. And then I also fashioned 4 legs using fence post. Fence post, see? I'm damn creative when I want to be. It's amazing. The noggin, works now and then. I wish other parts worked as well. They don't. So, what's happened is I fashioned some legs, but then my brilliant, wonderful wife said, I don't like that. I don't fancy the legs for this particular table. And she came up with a brilliant idea. So we're going to go with the brilliant idea of my wife, of course. Now I'm going to show you the frame that I've done and how we fastened it, and then we'll go from there. All right? It's still exciting, isn't it? Let's go. All right. So now what you'll see here is that we have completed the frame. There's the frame. Now you'll remember the frame, of course, but we had to put it onto the table, didn't we? Now remember that the table, which is actually a door, and remember an old barn door, is upside down. Of course, this is the underside of the table as we're looking at it here. So how did I fasten the frame, which is really just a series of these boards? How did I fasten it to the underside of the table? Well, I used these L brackets, as you can see. So I've got L brackets fastened all about, and so they fastened the frame here to the door here. Now, I don't know that these are called L brackets. I have no idea what they're actually called, but they do resemble the letter L, don't they? And so that's what I'm calling them. Now, my friend Linda, who has spent most of her life in Germany and pretends to forget common English words, she would not call this an L bracket, you see. She would say, "Oh, what is that called? Oh, in Germany, it's called a versprochen ist und ungepeitende Augenstückleben Fahrvergnügen," which of course is complete gibberish. But I'm going to call it an L bracket, and that's how we attach it. Now, the next task is to fashion a way to put this onto what were going to be legs, and now it's going to be a pedestal. Let me show you the legs that I fashioned that my wife did not fancy, and then I'll show you what we're actually going to use. And oh my God, it's going to be a beautiful table. I suspect I probably will sell it for $1 million. Yeah. All right. So here we have a lovely post. Now, this could be used as a fence or ornamentation for perhaps a patio. It was, in fact, about, 10 feet long or so. Now, I got these for 4 of them, actually, for $5 at the Habitat for Humanity Restore Store. Try saying that 3 times fast. Okay, I will. Restore store. No, I didn't do it, did I? All right. So what I've done, though, is I've cut part of this pole into this. So as you can see, and I'm not sure you can. Let me put it right there. There we are. So this was part. Let me try this. This was part of this. But I've cut it down and I've sanded it smooth, and so that this would now be a table leg. So let me just walk over here and I will show you what we're talking about. Now, I'm not going to do this, but these will work as legs on another project. So this, you see, would have fastened here, you see. This would have been fastened here, and as you can see, it would have then served as a leg. Once I turn this over, now this leg would have been painted white and distressed, and it would have been beautiful. But that's not what we're going to do, because my brilliant wife has another plan, and let me show you what it's going to do. This is a pedestal we have for another table, but we don't fancy it for the other table. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this beautiful pedestal, we're going to sand it down so that it is bare like the legs you just saw. Then we will paint it an antique white, and then it'll be distressed, and it will serve as the pedestal for the old barn door table. It gets better by the moment. So let me get busy sanding this particular pedestal, and then we'll mount it to the table. And my God, in less than 24 hours, we're practically done. This is so exciting. Don't get your knickers in a wad, Chris. All right, and so we have used our rotary sander, and which is right here, and we have removed most of the rather ugly brown finish, not all of it, as you can see, right here, to reveal really a very lovely oak piece, which I was not expecting. I was expecting that this was going to be a cheap composite wood. It is not. This is a very sturdy, very lovely piece of oak. However, the rotary sander is not appropriate to get into all the nooks and crannies. And so for that, we are going to pull out our handy-dandy, trusty Black & Decker mouth sander, as you'll see here. And this sander will be able to get into the nooks and crannies. This sander has something that I think is just a fantastic feature. It's got this this finger there, you see, at the end, and that finger enables it to get into places where, well, frankly, the rotary sander just cannot. And so when we're talking, you'll see we can get into places like that, right there, and right there, and right there. And of course, the only thing missing right now is that electricity, because it's not on, is it? I have to turn it on now. I'll show you the finished product after I'm done removing all the brown, and we'll go from there, won't we? It's looking lovely. I will start taking bids if you like. Money. All right, and so the base has now been sanded with both 60 grade paper and a 150. Now, some people ask, why use both? Why a 60, which is a very rough grade, and then a 150, which is a fine grade? Well, the answer is very simple, really. At Addict Awesome by Sandy, we believe in doing a simply incredible job. And without the 150 and the 60, or normally an 80, but a 60 this time because the finish was, well, it was a bit hard to take off, really. So you can go down to a 40, actually, but it tears the wood up a bit. So that's not what we're trying to do. We don't want to tear the wood up. We just want to remove the brown paint, right? So anyway, we've done that now, and the base is ready for painting, with the exception, of course, of the loose leg, which we must now fix. So what I will do is I will take my handy-dandy ratchet, and I will go in and repair the loose screws. As you can see there, we have this screw very, very loose, and this leg, that's this, there you are, you can see that. And so we're about to fix that, and then we'll take it to the painting stage. This is, we're getting close to the end. I can't wait to see the finished product, and I know you can't either. Okay, and so now what we've got is the base here is ready for painting, and we're in the paint room now. It's separate from the shop, covered with plastic, so that sawdust does not come in here and, of course, wreck the paint. We don't want to wreck the paint, do we? And so we're going to use this this Wagner Power Painter here to cover this all up with the beautiful paint, and then my lovely, lovely wife will go in there and distress it and do things that she does that I don't do, and that's really where the magic happens, when she touches it. All right, so let's do some painting. All right, so 20 minutes later, we have a very, very nice antique white base, which will dry, and once dried, it will be taken inside, where Sandy will work her magic, as I said before. I don't know what she does exactly. She does not let me see. but there's noise, strange noises really, that come from a front room where this piece will be, and when it emerges, it is not the piece as it went in. It's quite better, much improved, and that's what makes it so valuable. And then, of course, we'll mount it to the table, and then we'll go from there. Uh, we're almost done. This project, I'm already thinking of the next one. So, good morning. It is the third morning, actually, and it is -1 degrees. For those of you who are following our weather in Kentucky, you understand that we've had quite a cold snap, if you will. Let me show you around this morning. It is 7:30 in the morning, and as you can see, we have quite the build-up of snow. And there's my little boy looking at me through the door. Lovely. All right, so what we have this morning is we have this beautiful pedestal, as you can see, and what we've found in researching this particular piece is that it's quite reverent. It's very rare in woodworking to find a holy piece, and so we must, of course, treat it with the appropriate reverence. And we know that it's a holy piece because, as you can see, there are in fact 1, 2, 3, 4 holes in it, and so we will treat it, of course, with the appropriate respect. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this particular piece, and we're going to lower the veil, as it would be, and go onto the other side sooner, perhaps, than I thought I might. But anyway. And here we have the table, and we're going to mount it to this area right here. Now, this piece of the door really will serve no purpose whatsoever other than to obstruct the mounting of the mount, as it were. So we're going to have to get rid of that piece of wood. And then we're going to place it on here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to turn this all upside down and see what degree of level we have. It's probably not going to be very level, but we'll check it then. So, hey, it's time to mount the base. It's not the first time I've said that in my life, and yet I still have no children. So I've taken some measurements, and I've made a key decision. You see, we have a very heavy base, and we have a very heavy table, and I'm afraid that if I just go to mounting the base onto this table, what we'll have is a problem where one would rip away from the other. I need something else to support, to mount to. So here's what I've done. I have this 1/2 inch thick board, which is going to be mounted to the underside of the table using these supports. And there are 3 of them. You can't see this one, well, maybe you can a little bit right there. So they'll be mounted here and here and here, and then the base will be mounted to this in the same areas, so that it actually will give me the support I think I need to make sure that the table is on a solid foundation, if you will. And it will get me to the next base, won't it? It's only 7:30 and the puns just keep coming. Now it's time to reveal the finished product. I'm proud to say that Sandy has worked her magic. She went into the secret Harry Potter room. Everything was transformed. There was lights and noises. And sadly, the pedestal came out, and it was quite lovely, as you're about to see. And the table has been put onto the pedestal. Of course, just a door, really, but now it's a table. And we call that repurposing. Now, you see, what it means is that there was an original purpose. Of course, it was a door. It was to close things off, wasn't it? Yes. But now, instead of a door, it's a table. You see, it has a new purpose. So we call that repurposing. Unless you're Linda, my friend, and then you would call it which of course is, again, complete and utter rubbish. All right, so let's look and see what we've got here. So we have a beautiful, now, as you can see, I'm actually going to turn this around. Hold on one second. So here we are. This is the finished product, as you can see. As I said before, what we started off with was a door, and now the door has become a beautiful table. And as you can see, now we go down here, and Sandy's handiwork is quite evident, as you can see, in the way that she has distressed the pedestal. And so now it looks absolutely beautiful and placed with the appropriate seating and accents here, this flower arrangement that Sandy also made. We have a beautiful rustic table, perfect for dining room or sitting room, and all from a door. How lovely. So that concludes this project. Thank you for joining me, and until next time.
And so, what is the purpose of all of this? After all, it's not for my edification, not for my wife's edification, but frankly, to pay the electricity. So, now this table is going to the highest bidder. We will start the bidding at, shall we say, $2,000. We could say that, but it probably won't get it. So we'll just start the bidding now. Look for it on Buku and Craigslist and on Sandy's Facebook pages. But you have to live close to us because we're not shipping the damn thing, are we? All right, now on to the next project.